writes anymore, other than the very cool guy who wrote this script. Even worse for Team 7, even a single person failing the test means the whole team would be disqualified. And, no, I think it's worse, because the test is so hard that even Sasuke doesn't understand the questions. But soon he realizes the test isn't about the test at all. It's about cheating without getting caught. After all, no good ninja worth their salt will get caught, right?
Judging from the rhythm, the duration, and the frequency of the strokes.
Across the entire classroom, we're shown Shinobi cheating in the most creative ways possible. Sasuke uses Sharingan to copy the movements of somebody who knows the answers. Kiba uses Shikamaru, Ino mind controls Sakura to see her answers, and Gaara has a weird kind of sand eye situation. It's not all smooth sailing though. A bunch of people get thrown out for getting caught cheating. While everyone else figures out a way to cheat, Naruto's way too scared to copy Hinata's answers.
It's because I don't want you to have to leave. Well,
So he just wings it. Yeah, it's not looking good. Team 7 might be cooked. Episode 25 opens with the test still going on, and Ibiki reveals the true nature of the test. The 10th question, which is the only question that matters. If you don't choose to answer it, you fail. But if you choose to take it and get it wrong, you can never be a Chunin. How can a proctor be so ruthless? Well, Ibiki is the head of interrogation and torture for the Anbu Black Ops. But even the threat of being a Genin forever can't make Naruto quit. He chooses to take the 10th question. And as it turns out, there was no 10th question to begin with. The real thing being tested wasn't their knowledge, it was a test of their ability to gather information discreetly, and a test of determination.
Remarkable. That little outburst has given the others some backbone.
With that, Ibiki congratulates them and sends them on their way. But before they can even blink, something crashes through the window. It's not an enemy though. It's Mitarashi Anko, the proctor for their second Chunin exam. She tells them to show up tomorrow for their second exam, and straight up says half of them will fail. Where is the second exam happening? Nowhere serious, just a place called the Forest of Death. Yikes. Episode 27 picks up at the aforementioned Deadly Forest, with Anko scaring the living hell out of Naruto. We also see a Shinobi with a weirdly long tongue, and since HR made me promise to behave, I won't make any jokes. Anyway, before going into the forest though, everyone has to sign a consent form, in case they get got. The goal is to come out with 2 scrolls. The catch? Half the teams get 1 scroll, and the other half gets the other. So by default, half the teams will be disqualified. The time limit is 5 days, and once you're in the forest, you can't quit. No matter what, you have to survive 5 days. Let me just repeat that, in case you missed it. 5 full days for kids in the Forest of Death. If anyone from CPS ever watched Naruto, they'd have a damn heart attack.
Everyone is equally determined to pass, and all of them are my enemies.
So the Genin swap in their consent forms for their scrolls, and 30 minutes later, they're off. The other Genin all plan on targeting the rookies, but as one team falls into Kiba and his team's trap, they soon realize these rookies are not to be messed with. Meanwhile, back with Team 7, Naruto takes a bathroom break. When he comes back, he's immediately assaulted by Sasuke. Why does that happen? Because this Naruto is a fake. The episode then ends with the Shinobi transforming back to his real form and attacking Sasuke and Sakura. The second exam has officially begun. The episode opens with Sasuke taking on the imposter Naruto. During the fight, he manages to free Naruto, and they're too much for the faker. Sasuke also tries to stab him with a kunai, but he gets away. To prevent more imposter shenanigans in the future, Sasuke comes up with a secret password to identify his teammates. A really long, complicated password.
You got one a little shorter?
No, Naruto, that's it.
Just then, they get attacked by some enemies. When the dust clears, Sasuke sees Sakura and immediately asks her the password, which she answers perfectly. They then see Naruto and ask him the password. But when he answers it perfectly, Sasuke attacks him. There's no way the real Naruto could remember a password that long. The imposter then reveals his true form. It's the same long-tongued dude from the last episode, and he's really creepy. We then see the real Naruto, who's going through his own problems, being eaten by a big-ass snake. Damn! Back with Sasuke and Sakura, creepy guy immediately pelts them with a sickening Genjutsu. It's so bad it even makes Sasuke throw up. It scares the living hell out of him. Sakura is cooked too, she can't even move. The creepy guy moves in and throws a kunai at each of them. But Sasuke manages to break the Genjutsu by stabbing himself. He gets Sakura too, and makes his escape. Meanwhile, Naruto is making his way to get digested in the snake's stomach. However, this is Naruto we're talking about. He's not going down without a fight. So he makes a bunch of shadow clones and makes the snake explode. Whoa! Speaking of big snakes, one attacks Sakura and Sasuke too. Sasuke manages to kill it, but the same creepy guy emerges from its corpse and goes straight for Sasuke, until Naruto stops him. There's a small break, but Team 7 is back together now, and they have their hands full. The next episode picks up with Team 7 against the weird snake guy, but Sasuke sees what Naruto can't. This guy is so out of their league, so he offers up their scroll in exchange for their safety. Except Naruto isn't having it. Turns out that was the correct call. Snake Dude has no intention of letting them go even after they hand the scroll over. And so the fight begins.
No! Stay away!
Meanwhile, Anko gets some super disturbing news. 3 bodies were found, and upon investigation, they discovered that the bodies belong to Shinobi from the Grass Village. One small problem. There are 3 people with the same faces already competing in the Chunin exams. Anko shudders in fear. She recognizes this jutsu and knows the man that it belongs to. She immediately tells the other shinobi to alert the Hokage and get Anbu Black Ops in the forest. Whoever this guy is, Anko's reaction means that he's seriously dangerous. Back in the forest, Naruto is getting his ass whooped. The snake sends him through a million branches, but then something happens. Just like on the bridge, the 9 Tails chakra starts flowing through Naruto, and he gains an absurd amount of power. He manages to make it back in time to save Sasuke from the snake, before returning the scaredy cat insult from all the way back in episode 6.
Hey, kid. You're not hurt, are ya?
But the snake guy realizes the 9 Tails is in Naruto, so he strengthens Naruto's seal, takes the scroll from him, and tosses him aside. Sasuke, meanwhile, is just standing there, paralyzed by fear. But when Sakura calls him a coward, that snaps him back to reality. His Sharingan comes out, and he's finally ready to face Snake Man. Something tells me this isn't gonna end well. The episode starts with Sasuke back in his groove. He's taking on the creepy snake guy and gives him a pretty good fight, including a sick pile driver. Unfortunately, this is just a clone, and he gets ambushed by the real one. Not to worry though, because it was a trap, and creepy Snake Man walked right into it. Looks like Sasuke's got him. Emphasis on looks like, because no, he didn't get him, not even close. The guy's fake face starts peeling off, and we get a glimpse of his ghost pale skin before he reveals his real name, Orochimaru. He compliments Sasuke's power, saying that he's just like his brother Itachi. We will be meeting him in the future. He burns the scroll they had, and then tells Sasuke to beat the Sound Village shinobi who are working for him, if he wants true power. He also gives Sasuke a vampire bite on his neck, which leaves a strange mark on him, before disappearing into a tree. Don't worry, I'm sure that's never gonna come up again in the future, come on! This weird mark makes Sasuke scream in pain, and he passes out, leaving Sakura to care for her 2 teammates alone. Meanwhile, Anko finds Orochimaru, who calls her by name. Not only do they know each other, she used to be his student. As they fight, Anko thinks she's cornered him, and plans to take both herself and him out in one fell swoop. This, of course, doesn't work. Orochimaru incapacitates her, mentions he has some evil plans for Sasuke, and then he leaves.
A righteous warrior. How naughty of you to be using the forbidden jutsu I taught you.
We also see that Anko has the same mark Orochimaru just gave Sasuke. This guy has been doing evil stuff for a very long time. As Anko is recovering from her injuries, she gets ambushed by 3 tigers, and her curse mark stops her from fighting back. She's about to be cat food, but gets saved by the Anbu Black Ops. She tells them what's going on, and instructs them to call for the Hokage. Back with Team 7, the Sound Village shinobi spy on them from a distance, waiting for daybreak to spring their attack. This looks bad. Episode 31 opens with Lee and his team spreading out to scout for potential opponents. While they do that, Sakura is doing her best to stay up and tend to Naruto and Sasuke, but she ends up falling asleep. She has a nightmare about Orochimaru coming after them, and wakes to see Naruto and Sasuke still out cold. While Lee saves a squirrel from burning to death, Neji finds Shikamaru and his team, but he doesn't care about them. He wouldn't take a scroll from losers like them. As a ninja, I personally wouldn't take that kind of disrespect. But I also wouldn't try Neji in a fight. You'll see why soon.
I've been wanting to meet you for a really long time, Neji. So, hi.
Get lost.
What?
Back with Sakura, the Sound Village shinobi, who show up looking for a fight, fall right into Sakura's pretending to sleep trap. But there's a small problem. The trap kinda sucked and had no effect on them at all, just as it looks like Sakura is minced meat. Not to worry, because Lee shows up to save the day. A Sound shinobi attacks, but Lee unleashes his special move on him. Unfortunately, it's 3v1, as the other sound Shinobi saves his teammate. The episode then ends with Lee getting pelted with the same jutsu the guy used on Kabuto. He can't see straight anymore. Boy, things sure are looking rough for the Leaf Genin. The next episode opens with Lee puking and bleeding out of his ear. Turns out the secret behind the Sound Village guy's jutsu is sound. What a shocker. Obvious stuff aside, Lee has no answer for it. When the Shinobi attacks Sakura, Lee jumps in to save her, but gets taken out. Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji look on from the bushes as Sakura gets overpowered. The girl from the Sound Village grabs Sakura's long, pretty hair and mocks her for it, as her teammate makes his way towards Sasuke. So Sakura cuts off her own hair to get loose, symbolizing her cutting off her restraints and fully embracing becoming a ninja. She uses successive substitution jutsus to trick one of the Shinobi and attack him. Biting down on his arm. As he punches her over and over again, it is at that time that Ino remembers the friendship that she had with Sakura in her childhood, as well as their rivalry, and decides she can't keep watching this happen. So she and her team decide to step in to save Team 7. You don't know it yet, but trust me, this is the start of a bunch of beautiful friendships. The following episode starts with Sasuke having a vision of the night when his parents died. We then cut to Ino and her team, or Ino Shikacho, as they call themselves, defending Sakura. But while Shikamaru and Ino are ready for a fight, Choji wants absolutely nothing to do with it. Until the Sound Village guy calls him fat. This is a sensitive spot for Choji, and he absolutely loses his mind.
I'm just a little chubby, okay?
The fight begins, with Choji turning into a human boulder. Shikamaru possesses the masked body with his shadow technique, and Ino using her mind transfer jutsu to take the girl hostage. Their plan works. Until it doesn't. Turns out the guys don't care if the girl dies, and Shikamaru's chakra runs out. It looks like they're done for. But that's when help arrives in the form of a very arrogant but very powerful guy, Neji Hyuga. Tenten is with him too, but she's not super strong. Anyway, Neji is about to jump in, but then stops. Why, you ask? Because there's some devious chakra coming from Sasuke. And powered by Orochimaru's curse mark, Sasuke wakes up. He asks Sakura who hurt her, before proceeding to put the smackdown on the guy who did it. But the curse mark is evil, and Sasuke is under its influence. He turns into a monster, breaking both of the guy's arms.
What do you know? Blew them all away!
Not quite.
He's about to end the other one too, but Sakura's cries convince him to calm down. With that, the Sound Village Genin surrender their scroll and retreat, with Sasuke left wondering what the hell just happened. Episode 34 opens with Naruto having a dream about Orochimaru showing a kunai in his face. If I had a nickel for every time a Naruto episode opened with a dream, I'd have two. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Naruto wakes up and has no idea about the whole battle that just happened. In the aftermath of the battle, Ino helps Sakura fix her hair. And the Genin of the Leaf all have a good bonding experience. Well, everybody except for Neji, who just stands there thinking about how Sasuke would make a good opponent. Meanwhile, we see Kiba consoling a terrified Akamaru. Why is he scared? Well, they were making their way through the forest when they saw a showdown between the Genin from the Sand Village and some older Genin. There, they saw Gaara. Found out that he's an extremely powerful bloodthirsty monster who can control sand. In front of their eyes, Gaara just popped a team of 3 experienced Genin like they were grapes. Hell, even his own teammates are absolutely terrified of him. And rightfully so. Bro just threatened to kill them when they didn't listen to him.
Sand burial!
Back in the present, Kiba, Shino, and Hinata have made it to the tower with both scrolls, and they just watch Gaara and his team walk by them, still absolutely petrified. And Gaara's exploits aren't going unnoticed. One of the supervising Chunin tells Anko that Gaara and his team finished the exam in just 97 minutes. This is 4 hours quicker than the all-time record. But that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is he didn't even get a single scratch during the entire exam. Whoever this kid is, he means business. The next episode opens with Naruto and Sasuke fishing. They're all alone in the forest, so they gotta get their own food. Over lunch, they discuss their situation. They're 4 days into the exam, which means they don't have a great shot at clearing the exam. But Naruto has an idea. When Sasuke goes to get some water, Naruto tells Sakura that since they have one scroll, they should open it and see what's inside so they can just forge the other one. And it just so happens that at the exact same time, another team also has the same plan.
The next brilliant idea you get, how about keeping it to yourself? We got enough problems.
But when that team opens the scroll, They scream in horror, and their teammate finds them passed out. That's not reassuring at all. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sakura are about to open their scroll, but they're stopped by Kabuto. He shows up seemingly out of nowhere and tells them why they shouldn't open their scrolls. They have hypnosis jutsu on them in case anyone cheats and opens them before finishing the exam. Kabuto has 2 scrolls, and Sasuke challenges him to a fight for the second one. He doesn't care who he fights as long as they pass. But Kabuto has a better idea. They can work together. Kabuto has been separated from his teammates and needs backup. So they strike a deal. They can act as cover for Kabuto, and he'll help them get the second scroll. They stealthily make their way to the tower, but well, as you know, Naruto can be an absolute idiot. So unsurprisingly, he trips a wire and triggers a trap. Truly, if not for more experienced ninja, he'd be minced meat right now. Some time passes, and Sakura just drops from exhaustion, since they've been walking forever.
It would seem we've been spotted. Somebody is playing games with us.
However, they soon realize they're stuck in a Genjutsu and have been walking in circles for hours. And that's when they get ambushed by about 100 people. Episode 36 opens with a recap on the show so far, before we get back to the ambush. Team 7 and Kabuto are cornered as there are literally guys spawning out of trees to ambush them. But it turns out these are all illusions. So Team 7 decides to fight them until the people controlling the illusions come out. Once the night is gone, the 3 genin behind the Genjutsu show up, only to find out that the people they were fighting all night were Naruto's shadow clones disguised as the team. But the enemies of our heroes aren't done yet. They launch another clone-based jutsu. Naruto rushes in like an idiot and almost gets killed, but Kabuto saves him again. That's when they find out they've been fighting clones. The guys making them were hiding underground the entire time. When they figured that out, it's an easy W for Team 7. But it's not all smiles. Sasuke has a bad feeling about Kabuto for some reason. As it turns out, that feeling is warranted, because he wasn't really helping them. He was gathering information on Sasuke. Why, you ask? Because Kabuto is working for Orochimaru. You really can't trust anybody in the Shinobi world.
I learned a lot about him during the second exam, and I recorded all the data on this.
Back with Team 7, they finally make it to where they need to use the scrolls, and the episode ends with Sakura and Naruto opening them. In the next episode, we pick up with the opening of the scrolls, and it turns out they trigger a summoning jutsu. Who did they summon? None other than good old Iruka-sensei. He congratulates Team 7 on passing the second exam before explaining how the exam itself was testing all the skills that they'll be needing as Chunin: mission execution, survival, using both brains and brawn to survive. Seeing them survive such a grueling exam, Iruka thinks back to his argument with Kakashi and realizes he might have been onto something with these kids. Meanwhile, Anko is finally able to tell the Hokage that Orochimaru is back and has some devious plans for Sasuke. We then cut to all the genin who made it past the second exam, which includes all 9 of the rookie leaf genin. The Hokage then explains why the Chunin exams really happen. Sure, they do it to see which shinobi are worthy of promotion, but really it's about showcasing the abilities of each shinobi village for all the feudal lords.
In order to avoid destroying each other's military strength meaninglessly, those nations pick champions.
AKA, people with money to see. Even Naruto isn't safe from the vile clutches of capitalism. After the Hokage is done speaking, the judge for the third exam, Hayate Gecko, shows up. Team 7 might have been through hell, but the Chunin exams aren't done yet. Episode 38 starts with Gecko saying he has a little preliminary test in mind for the kids. What's more, participation in the third stage of the exam is on the line. Turns out there are way too many people who passed the first 2 exams, so they need to cut down the batch for the third. Meanwhile, Sasuke's curse mark is really bothering him, and Sakura is insisting that he drop out of the exam altogether. Anko shares the same sentiment, but Kakashi tells her he's not going to listen to anybody. After all, he's an Uchiha. During their argument, Kabuto raises his hand and drops out of the exam. He says it's because he's physically exhausted, but Sasuke isn't buying his BS. He knows something is up. Oh, and fun fact, the Jonin representative from the Sound Village is actually Orochimaru. Jeez. Sakura begs Sasuke to quit, but he's not having it. He wants to fight the strongest people and be the strongest version of himself.
You're one of the ones I want to fight the most.
So with Kabuto dropping out, there are 20 contestants left. That means 10 1v1s, with the 10 winners advancing to the third exam. The electronic board picks the first matchup: Sasuke versus one of Orochimaru's Sound Village lackeys. Even though Sasuke is incredibly hurt by Orochimaru's curse mark, he's ready to fight. But before the match starts, Kakashi tells him to not use his Sharingan because it triggers the curse mark. The match starts, and it looks like Sasuke is really cooking, until we find out his opponent can steal chakra from his enemies, and right now he's sucking Sasuke dry. The next episode starts with everyone watching as Sasuke's opponent mercilessly is draining him of chakra. Sasuke manages to get him off of him, but he's in bad shape. Naruto tries to motivate Sasuke from the sidelines, but it's not much help. That's when Sasuke looks at Lee and gets an idea. What's that idea? Copying the move Lee almost used on him. He even wards off the curse mark during the attack, which is not an easy thing to do. And just like that, with a move he calls the Lion's Barrage, Sasuke wins. After that match, Kakashi takes Sasuke away so he can seal the curse mark. Naruto still doesn't know about the curse mark yet, asks Sakura what's up with Sasuke. She just lies to his face, saying she has no idea. Anyway, with that match done, the computer picks the next match. Shino versus Abumi, the guy from the Sound Village that got his arms broken by Sasuke. As the match starts, Orochimaru dips. I wonder where he's going. Meanwhile, Kakashi successfully seals the curse mark, but tells Sasuke the seal depends on his will to keep the curse mark away.
This curse-sealing jutsu is only as strong as you are. It derives its power from the strength of your will.
The sealing process is painful, and Sasuke passes out. But after he's done, Kakashi hears a sinister voice from the shadows. It's Orochimaru. Oh no. Episode 4 kicks off with Orochimaru, which is never a good thing to say. Kakashi asks Orochimaru what he wants from Sasuke, but the answer is obvious. He wants what both Sasuke and Kakashi have, the Sharingan. We then cut back to Shino versus Abumi, and the Sound Shinobi is going all out, even with 2 broken arms. Unfortunately though, Shino already blocked his jutsu with his bugs. He just knocks Abumi out. Poor guy. Back with Orochimaru, Kakashi is prepared to fight him to protect Sasuke. But Orochimaru doesn't want to fight. He knows Sasuke will eventually come looking for him, so he just leaves. And when he does, the look on Kakashi's face says it all. Kakashi has no shot against this guy.
As always. But to play the game as you put it, I need pieces on the chessboard. Willing pawns to do my bidding.
After handing Sasuke over to the hospital, with Anbu Black Ops standing as guards, Kakashi returns to Naruto and Sakura, and assures them that Sasuke is fine. He also returns in time for the next match to be announced. Kankuro, Gaara's teammate with the puppet, versus Misumi, another one of Orochimaru's lackeys. The following episode kicks off with Kankuro and Misumi's fight, and Misumi immediately stretches like a snake and grabs hold of Kankuro's body. He then tells him to give up, but Kankuro refuses. So Misumi breaks his neck. Or at least, that's what it looks like, because the body Misumi was strangling wasn't Kankuro, it was his puppet. And out of nowhere comes another puppet. Turns out Kankuro was hiding in the bandages all along. With that, Kankuro's puppet crushes Misumi and he taps out, giving Kankuro the win. Later, Ino tries to get in Sakura's head and make her quit. But this isn't the weak Sakura anymore. She's ready for the challenge. And as luck would have it, the challenge comes looking for her. Because she's up next and her opponent is none other than Ino herself. The fight begins, and the girls are going at it. During an exchange, Ino gets an opening, but instead of throwing a haymaker at Sakura, she just slaps her. What? We then get a flashback of them as kids, when they were friends and Ino protected Sakura from bullies. Ino still thinks of Sakura as that same weak girl and can't bring herself to hurt her. But Sakura gets super mad at Ino for going easy, and immediately riles her up. Naruto doesn't get it, but as someone who is a rival in Guy, Kakashi does. That's just how rivals are. They want each other to do their best, so they can beat them and become even better. So Sakura and Ino both put on their headbands and start fighting again. Episode 42 starts with the 2 girls really going at it. Sakura immediately brings out some clones and gets a good hit in, but the girls are so evenly matched that the fight goes on for 10 whole minutes. Ino losing her mind over Sakura being just as good as she is. So she cuts off her hair to show that she's not going to be left behind. By the way, if I had a nickel for every time a girl dramatically chopped off her hair in this anime, I'd have 2, which isn't a lot. I swear that it happened twice. Ino then pulls out her special technique, the mind transfer jutsu. Sakura thinks she'll dodge it, but falls right into Ino's trap, because she cut her hair off to be able to trap Sakura in place. And that's what she does the mind transfer. Ino is now in control of Sakura's body. Now in Sakura's body, Ino is about to make Sakura forfeit. But Naruto screams out to Sakura before she can do it, and it wakes up Sakura's subconscious. With that, she does the unthinkable. She fights back against Ino and breaks the jutsu. So they're back to square one. Except, they're not, because they're both completely exhausted. With one last exchange of punches, they both pass out, and they're both disqualified. It sounds like a bummer, but both of them have a smile on their face even when they're out cold. That is a real rivalry right there. With that, it's time for the next match. Temari, the girl from Gaara's team, versus Tenten, the girl from Rock Lee's team. Meanwhile, Sakura and Ino both wake up and share a wholesome moment before going back to hating each other. I'd say they need therapy, but I don't think therapy works as well for them as punching each other in the face. The next episode begins with Tenten versus Temari. Tenten is keeping her space while Lee and Guy Sensei cheer her on. She then goes for an attack but misses, which is shocking because her aim is usually perfect. She tries again with more projectiles, but she misses. Seeing no solution, she goes for her special attack, but Temari just blows it all away with her fan. It's Temari's turn to attack, and she sends a whole-ass tornado on Tenten, completely blowing her away. Pun very much intended. With that, Temari wins. Temari then tosses an unconscious Tenten, but Lee catches her, and he's not happy about the disrespect. He attacks her, but Guy stops him. He then shares a stare down with Gaara, which may or may not be foreshadowing to the best fight in all of Naruto. It is. It definitely is foreshadowing. With that, it's time for the next matchup, Shikamaru versus Tsuchi, the girl from the Sound Village. There's a problem. She's seen Shikamaru's jutsu, and he has no idea what hers is. The fight begins, and he tries his shadow possession jutsu, but she's seen it already. So she just moves out of the way and throws a couple of needles with bells at him. He dodges, but she didn't want to hit him at all. Turns out the bells are the real weapons. They produce a vibration that makes Shikamaru start hallucinating, and he sees like 25 different versions of her. With that, Tsuchi thinks that she's won. But here we learn the most important part of Shikamaru's character. He's smart. He manages to hide his shadow under the wire Tsuchi is using to control her bells, and takes control of her body. Then he makes her smack her head into the wall, knocking her out, and giving himself the W.
Big deal. I'll do that too.
And that's what I call using your head.
After that, the next match is announced. It's Naruto versus Kiba. And that's how the next episode opens, with Kiba versus Naruto. Now, Kiba thinks he's an easy win on his hand. After all, Naruto couldn't even do a simple transformation jutsu. And so, with all that overconfidence, he charges towards Naruto and gets a brutal hit in. Everybody thinks that Naruto is down for the count, but Sakura and Kakashi know he's not going down that easy. Sure enough, he gets back up, so Kiba attacks again, this time using a smoke bomb to obscure his vision and starts smacking him around. Naruto tries to get out of the smoke, but runs into a charging Akamaru, who knocks him out. Now, it definitely looks like Kiba got him, and he calls Akamaru back to him. But then something weird happens. Akamaru bites Kiba. This, of course, is a ploy by Naruto. He was disguised as Akamaru. Everyone suddenly realizes Naruto isn't a pushover anymore. But Kiba isn't done. He feeds Akamaru a food pill, and he turns red, before transforming into a clone of Kiba. Together, they unleash Kiba's ultimate attack on Naruto, Fang over Fang. But again, and stop me if you've heard this before, Naruto gets back up. Kid wants to be Hokage after all. The next episode begins with Kiba doing Fang over Fang again, and Naruto's having a tough time dodging it, until he comes up with an idea. When the smoke clears, we see not one, not two, but 3 Kibas. Naruto transformed into Kiba to confuse him and Akamaru. One problem with that. Kiba can tell Naruto by his scent, and immediately socks the imposter in the face. But the Kiba he hits turns into Akamaru. Thinking that he's been tricked, Kiba then smacks the other Kiba as well. But he also turns into Akamaru. Kiba is cooked now. He's got no idea what's going on. And in that confusion, we hear that the first Akamaru was Naruto in disguise. Just like that, Naruto gets a good hit on Kiba. And because Kiba knocked Akamaru out cold, it's a 1v1 now. Naruto says he has a secret technique, but Kiba wants to end the fight before he gets a chance to show it off. He launches a barrage of attacks, not letting Naruto breathe for a second. But still, Naruto gets back up, and finally unleashes his secret technique, which is a fart. Yep, real mature.
You slowed him down at least!
I wish I could say I planned it.
Luckily though, as Naruto's deadly fart messes with Kiba's sense of smell, it gives him the opening for his actual new technique, which is a version of Sasuke's Lion Barrage, but with shadow clones. It does the trick. Kiba is out cold. After the fight, Hinata gives Naruto an ointment for his injuries as Neji gives her the death stare. Spoiler alert, Neji does not like Hinata. In the next episode, we get the next matchup, Neji versus Hinata. Now, from the conversation between Naruto and the others, we learn that Hinata and Neji are from the same family, the Hyuga clan. Hinata is from the head family and Neji is from the branch family. We also learn that much like the Uchiha, the Hyuga clan also has a visual Kikagenkai. It's called the Byakugan, and is even better than the Sharingan when it comes to reading opponents. Back to Neji and Hinata, and he tells her to drop out. As he puts it, She's too nice to be a shinobi. According to Neji, people never change. And so, Hinata has no shot of ever having what it takes to be a Chunin. Hinata is absolutely terrified of Neji. And the worst part? He knows it. He starts pointing out how her body language indicates how scared she is, which only makes things worse.
I saw at that moment you were thinking of your past. Your bitter past.
Because of course his brutal words are going to do a great job of destroying her confidence. While Hinata won't talk back, Naruto has had enough and screams at Neji to shut up before cheering Hinata on. With that, Hinata gets her confidence back, and the fight begins. They're both using the Hyuga style of fighting, which they damage their opponents internally using their Byakugan to pinpoint the weak spots. And the episode ends with them still trading blows. Episode 47 starts badly, with Neji landing a clean strike on Hinata. She tries hitting back, but Neji has her completely outclassed. She's on the floor, but much like Naruto, she refuses to give up and keeps the fight going, even though she's in bad shape. Her bravery is admirable, and gives us another glimpse as to the effect Naruto seems to have on the people around him. But as wholesome as all this is, it's no good when you're up against somebody like Neji. With one last devastating hit, Neji knocks her out cold. Or so we think. The proctor is about to end the fight, but somehow, someway, Hinata gets back on her feet and tells Neji the truth. He's the one who has a problem with who he is, not her. The truth hurts. And it certainly hurts Neji, who immediately runs at her, and the look in his eyes says death. Fortunately, the proctor, Kakashi, Kurenai, Hinata, Shino, and Kiba Sensei, and Guy all jump in to stop him from ending her. Neji then tells Naruto he's a failure too, and there's nothing he can do to change that. Naruto wants to throw down instantly, but Lee stops him. After all, the fighting should happen in an official capacity. Rich coming from the guy who just attacked Temari, but okay.
How was that, Guy-sensei?
Good one, Lee. Nice going.
The episode ends with Naruto swearing on Hinata's blood that he'll beat Neji. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the best fight in all of Naruto. Because episode 48 opens with us getting our next matchup, Rock Lee versus Gaara. Of course, we have Guy Sensei and Lee sharing one collective brain cell before the fight, and it's always hilarious. But with the jokes out of the way, it's time to throw down. Lee immediately goes in for a kick, but Gaara's sand protects him, before lashing back at Lee, who dodges back. Lee starts unleashing a barrage of attacks, and he's super fast, but he just can't hit Gaara. Kankuro then explains Gaara's sand shield. The sand in his gourd protects him automatically. It's so effective that Gaara has quite literally never been hit. Meanwhile, Lee is struggling with the sand, and it looks like he's about to be smothered. But Lee manages to dodge it and gain some distance. When he does, Guy tells him to do the thing. That thing turns out to be removing his ankle weights that he was wearing. How heavy were they? Well, yeah, that heavy. In one of the most iconic scenes in all of Naruto, Lee gains even more speed without the weights. His attacks start pushing through Gaara's sand, slowly getting faster and closer to hitting Gaara, until he gets so fast that even the sand can't keep up with him. And then, wham! Rock Lee, a guy with no ninjutsu, manages to give Gaara, a guy with the ultimate ninjutsu, his first taste of the real world.
Over here! No, here!
Every single person's jaw is on the floor, as Lee's speed gets him another hit on Gaara. Unfortunately though, that hit couldn't get past Gaara's second layer of defense, so Lee goes for the kill and brings out his special move, the Primary Lotus, which is just the most crackhead piledriver anybody has ever seen. It looks like Gaara has been beaten, but then the dust clears and we see the truth. It was just a sand clone. Episode 49 opens with Lee in disbelief that Gaara was able to swap in a clone. What's more, the Primary Lotus takes a lot out of a person, so Lee's totally spent, and Gaara starts toying with him. It's really bad. Lee can't even dodge the slower attacks Gaara's throwing at him. Everyone looking on is worried for Lee's life, as Guy Sensei remembers all the hardships Lee had to face as someone who wouldn't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. But all of that struggle seems useless right now, because he's up against a monster. Now completely backed into a corner, Lee thinks about how much Guy Sensei inspired and helped bring him to where he is today, and decides he's not going out like this. So he resorts to his secret forbidden technique, opening his inner chakra gates.
So that Genin, that boy, is able to open the 8 inner gates and use the hidden lotus?
Basically, humans have 8 chakra gates inside of them. Opening one gives you a lot of power, but also takes a huge toll on the body. The Primary Lotus Lee did already open the first gate, But one gate isn't enough to beat Gaara. So Lee decides to go all out, opening 3 gates and getting a huge power-up as the episode ends. And when the episode opens, turns out he's not stopping at 3. As he begins absolutely smoking Gaara, he opens the 4th gate as well, before opening the 5th gate in his final move. He's so fast and powerful that no one can even keep up with him, and everyone thinks Gaara is down for the count. But, surprise, he isn't. Despite Lee's best efforts, Gaara isn't down yet. Yeah, he's in rough shape, but he can still move. Lee, on the other end, can barely even crawl, which is a big problem. Gaara gets his sand around Lee's left arm and leg, and uses his sand coffin technique to break them before moving in for the kill. And he would have gotten it too had Guy-sensei not stepped in and saved him. Guy stepping in to save Lee really confuses Gaara. He asks why he did that, and Guy says it's because he cares about Lee. Something Gaara doesn't understand at all. As you'll come to find out, Gaara is quite the troubled character. Anyway, he leaves the battlefield, and medics come in to take Lee away. But that's when tragedy strikes. The medic says that the injuries to Lee's arm and leg are super brutal. He's never going to be able to fight as a shinobi again. This devastates everybody, particularly Naruto and Guy, who can't believe Lee's dream could just end like this.
Yes, yes, yes!
This jutsu, in the end, only Lee could make it his own.
But it's a cruel world that stops for no one. And just like that, the stage is set for the next matchup, Choji versus Dosu, the last Sound Village guy. The episode opens with Choji preparing to take Dosu down, before crashing into a wall and losing almost immediately. That wasn't even 60 seconds. With that, the finalists for the 3rd exam have been selected. But the 3rd exam isn't happening immediately. There's a whole month in between for the kids to prepare. Meanwhile, Kabuto meets up with Orochimaru to discuss his plan for Sasuke, and it's clear that while they work very closely with each other, they don't like each other as much as you'd expect. Still, Orochimaru asks Kabuto to bring Sasuke to him, and he sets off on his mission. Or that's what we think.
That Naruto now holds a certain influence over our Sasuke. The thing to do is to get Sasuke away from him immediately.
Turns out Kabuto actually doesn't trust Orochimaru and is about to kill Sasuke. He casually gets past the 3 Anbu Black Ops guarding him and is about to do it, when he gets stopped by Kakashi. A fight breaks out, and it looks like Kakashi has him cornered, but using the classic Shadow Clone bait and switch, Kabuto manages to escape. Back with the last 9 genin, and they draw lots to decide their matchups. Naruto gets the matchup he wanted with Neji, whereas Sasuke gets the toughest matchup with Gaara. While the draw is decided, everyone begins preparing for their fights. Naruto's looking forward to being trained by Kakashi, but he's going to be training Sasuke. Thankfully, Kakashi has someone lined up to train Naruto, and it's Ebisu, Konohamaru's teacher. Oh, come on. The next episode opens with Naruto reacting exactly like how you think he would. He wants absolutely no part of being taught by this teacher.
No, not that again!
Harem jutsu?
Obviously, he isn't a huge fan of Naruto either, but he owes Kakashi a favor, so he has to do it. So why does Kakashi want Ebisu to teach Naruto? Simple. While Naruto is turned into a fine ninja, he's not very good at the basic fundamentals of being a shinobi. So Kakashi wants him to help polish these fundamentals, which would make him even better. But when Naruto says he doesn't want to do it, Ebisu gives him a challenge. If Naruto can outrun him, he won't have to study under him at all. Naruto agrees and begins running, but no matter where he goes, where he transforms into, or how many shadow clones he uses, he just can't outrun him. And just like that, Naruto loses, and he has no choice but to stick with Ebisu.
Control yourself, Ebisu!
Ebisu then treats Naruto to some ramen while explaining his deficiencies. Basically, he tells him that he sucks at chakra control. What that means is he uses way more energy than he needs to perform stuff like his Shadow Clone Jutsu, while Sasuke and Sakura are excellent at chakra control despite having less of it than Naruto. So he takes Naruto to a hot spring and begins teaching him how to use chakra control to walk on water. But while they're training, they see an old man babying the lady's hot spring. Ebisu immediately rushes to stop him, but the old man summons a big frog and just slams him into the ground.
What's wrong with you? Keep it down! Do you want to get us busted, you idiot?
Naruto's amazed. Who the heck is this old pervert? Well, his name is Jiraiya, and as we'll come to see, he's one of the greatest characters in anime history. For now though, Jiraiya isn't a cool shinobi, he's just a pervert. Naruto's impressed by how he took out Ebisu, but he's not impressed by his shenanigans. Still, since he took out his teacher, there's no one to train Naruto now. So Naruto starts asking the pervy sage to train him. But the old man isn't interested in doing it at all. He just wants to do perverted stuff. Of course.
There you go, kid. You can train in there for a while.
But Naruto is nothing if not persuasive. And after spending the whole day going after him and using his sexy jutsu, he manages to convince the pervy sage to help him. So Jiraiya takes Naruto to a pond and tells him to try walking on water again. He does it for a bit, but then falls right in. Jiraiya has a good laugh of it at first, but when he focuses on Naruto, he realizes the reason why he can't control his chakra. It's because of the seal Orochimaru put on him. What's more, he actually knows Orochimaru by name, and he also knows the Nine Tails is inside Naruto. He undoes Orochimaru's seal, and asks Naruto to try again. Wouldn't you know it, he actually manages to walk on water perfectly.
You know, you have quite a tight, sexy little body.
What the?
With the training done for the day, they take a bath at a hot spring. As Naruto sleeps, Jiraiya watches over him, and Ebisu shows up. Jiraiya apologizes for stealing his student, but Ebisu says it's fine. He's more concerned about how the Leaf Village has been looking for Jiraiya for ages. He asks if it's because of Orochimaru, but Jiraiya says he doesn't want to get involved with all that. But Ebisu isn't having it, and says he's the only one who has the power to take him out. After all, he's one of the legendary Sannin, just like Orochimaru. Looks like this new sensei guy is more than just an old pervert. The next episode opens as Ebisu leaves Jiraiya's side, saying he believes in him. Meanwhile, we cut to Dosu, who comes to fight Gaara at night, but Gaara's awake. What's more, he turns into some kind of monster and takes Dosu out on the spot. From a distance, the Sand Village Jonin and Kabuto watch on. It turns out the Kazekage, the Hokage equivalent of the Sand Village, is working with Orochimaru. Why? So they can destroy the Leaf Village. But there's someone overhearing their conversation. Hayate, the proctor for the third exam. Unfortunately for him, they both know that he's there, and the Sand Village Jonin tracks him down and takes him out. I do not like where this is going. The next morning, Jiraiya is being his usual pervy self, but Naruto snaps him out of it. So they get back to training, and Jiraiya tries to get Naruto to harness the Nine Tails chakra inside of him. But try as he may, he just can't do it. So Jiraiya comes up with a plan. If Naruto uses up all of his own chakra, he should be able to use the Nine Tails chakra. So Naruto summons a bunch of shadow clones and straight up has a Fortnite battle royale with all of them. He wins in the end and is out of chakra, so Jiraiya teaches him the summoning jutsu, where you can summon an animal after signing a blood contract with them. In this case, the animal in question is a frog. Naruto happily signs and then tries summoning a frog of his own, only to summon the smallest tadpole you've ever seen in your life. Boy, this is gonna take some work. Another episode and another moment of Jiraiya being a pervert. Anyway, Naruto is still trying to summon a frog, but all that he can muster is a tadpole.
Listen, if you're not going to take this seriously, then I'm through with you. Do you understand me?
I am serious! You're the one who's staring at the girls, you old goat!
We then cut back to Sakura, who's still thinking about Sasuke and his curse mark. Meanwhile, Hayate's death has been discovered and is being discussed by the Hokage and the Jonin of the Leaf Village. They discuss whether or not they should call off the Chunin exams, but the Hokage says they can't. It would be a sign of weakness. Back with Sakura, she decides to pay Sasuke and Lee a visit at the hospital. She stops by a flower shop to get some, only to see Ino standing at the counter. Ino then decides to accompany Sakura to the hospital, where they run into her teammates Shikamaru and Choji, as well as their teacher Asuma-sensei, enjoying a nice meal. We then get a glimpse of every Leaf Genin's training for the tournament before seeing the Sand Genin having a heated conversation, but we can't hear them. Quick check-in on Naruto. Nope, he's still summoning tadpoles.
Can't you see it? This one's bigger than the last one!
Who cares? It's still a tadpole!
Back to Sakura and Ino. They go to visit Sasuke only to see that he's gone from his room. We cut to Kakashi climbing a cliff with one hand, and he's criticizing himself for struggling. I mean, of course. I could do that without struggling, so, I can see why he's embarrassed. Anyway, when he makes it to the top, he sees Sasuke standing there ready to begin his training. Meanwhile, Sakura and Ino go to check up on Lee, and guess what? He's not in his room either. The only difference is he's not too far away. He's in the hospital garden doing 200 one-arm push-ups. Despite the fact the doctors told him he'll never be a shinobi again, he's just not giving up. Unfortunately, though, he soon passes out, and Sakura and Ino can do nothing but look on in pain. We get a glimpse of Shikamaru training as well before going back to Naruto, who has finally made progress.
It's obvious our friends in the swimming suits aren't coming back, so how about we call it a day, huh, Naruto?
He can now summon a tadpole with rear legs. The following episode opens with some more progress for Naruto. His tadpole has 4 legs. Unfortunately, that's the result of 3 whole weeks of training, and Naruto is exhausted, so Jiraiya decides to speed things up. First, he takes Naruto to have a nice bath and to have some ramen.
Thanks a bunch, pervy sage. He left!
Before he tells him to go and hug Sakura. That, of course, ends with Naruto getting socked in the face by her. After completing this little checklist, Jiraiya knocks Naruto out. When he wakes up, Jiraiya chucks him down a cavern to put him in a life-or-death situation, hoping that this will finally bring the Nine-Tails chakra out of him. That's when Naruto has a vision. He's inside of what looks like a prison, and he sees a huge jail cell. From inside the cell, we see enormous fangs, claws, and eyes. It's the nine-tailed fox inside of him. The Nine-Tails threatens him, saying that he wants to kill him, but can't open the seal. Naruto, however, does not care. In fact, he tells the fox that since he's living inside of Naruto, he needs to hand over some chakra as rent, which is just hilarious. Surprisingly, the fox actually agrees. After all, if Naruto dies, he dies too.
This is it! Summoning Jutsu!
So he hands it over, and Naruto tries summoning again. But instead of a tadpole this time, Naruto summons a gigantic frog, as Jiraiya watches on with a proud smile on his face. The next episode opens with Naruto on the back of a gigantic frog that he summoned. One problem though, that frog is the chief toad, Gamabunta, and he really didn't want to be summoned. He immediately suspects Jiraiya and starts calling him out. Jiraiya, hearing the anger in his voice, just kinda dips, leaving Naruto all by himself.
Knock it off, you toad jerk! You've been talking down to me and saying whatever you want since you first got here!
At first, the enormous frog doesn't even believe that Naruto could have summoned him. After all, he's just a kid. Naruto tries being nice, but Gamabunta is super mean, so he snaps back. Naruto says that since he summoned him, he's the master. Gamabunta just laughs and jumps out of the hole that they're in. But Naruto's determined, so he gives the frog a challenge. If he can stay on his back for a whole day, he gets to be his master. Gamabunta agrees, and puts him through the most grueling rodeo that anybody has ever seen, as Jiraiya watches them from the distance.
Look at that! Isn't that rainbow pretty? Yeah, it's gorgeous!
Oh yeah, I'll say.
We take a brief cut to the Sand Genin, and there we see what their plan is. Basically, their treaty with the Leaf Village isn't exactly fair. They're struggling financially, and therefore having a hard time building up their military strength, so they've joined forces with the Sound Village to take them down so that they can have their fair share again. Back with Naruto, he's still on the frog's back, despite his best efforts. At one point, Gamabunta almost gets him to fall off, but he uses his shadow clones to stay on. Unfortunately, that was all he had, and he passes out while celebrating. It's a shame too, he almost made it through the whole day. Still, it was enough to gain this frog's respect.
It's the first time since the 4th Hokage that someone has dared to climb on my head.
And he drops Naruto off at the hospital on his way back. Only Naruto could gain somebody's respect through sheer stubbornness. The next episode opens with Naruto waking up in the hospital. And guess who's there to check on him? Good old Shikamaru. This is the point where the Leaf Genin all start forming a pretty good bond with each other. He gives Naruto some fruit, and then tells him he's been out cold for 3 days. This sends Naruto into a panic, but he eventually calms down. While they're talking, Sakura heads to Ino's flower shop again to get some flowers for Lee, and Ino joins her, getting some fruit for Choji. But after Sakura leaves Lee's room, guess who shows up there? Gaara. Yep, he's been troubled ever since he saw how much Guy cared about Lee, and he's here to finish him off for good.
But why? He failed. Why save him?
He's about to use the sand coffin on him, but Shikamaru stops him with his shadow possession jutsu just in time. They ask him what the hell he's doing, and Gaara's answer is simple. He's killing Lee. Why? Because he wants to. Naruto tries to scare him off, saying he has a monster in him, but Gaara is unfazed, saying he has a monster inside of him too. We then finally find out what his deal is. Before he was even born, his father, the Kazekage, trapped a sand spirit called Shukaku inside of him. Then during his birth, Gaara's mother passed away. Then after his birth, he was feared by everybody. So much so that his father has been trying to have him killed since he was 6 years old. Hearing this story, Naruto realizes he is the same as Gaara. The only difference is that he had Iruka-sensei to help him turn out alright. But Gaara has no one. Because of this, he's an emotionless monster with a throat for blood. Gaara then breaks free from the shadow possession and is about to end all 3 of them, but Guy-sensei shows up at the perfect time yet again and saves them. Gaara leaves, but not before saying that he's going to kill them all. Yikes, brother, you really need to chill out. The following episode begins with Naruto going to get some ramen, but he's alone this time. Seeing this, the shop owners give him one huge bowl to congratulate him for making it to the final exam. But after that, it's back to being alone. In fact, the poor kid spends the entire evening before the match completely on his own. He tries to catch some sleep at night, but he can't because he's too nervous. And it's easy to see why. He's a massive underdog against Neji, and everybody knows it. To calm his nerves, he goes to the forest where Iruka-sensei made him a genin and runs into Hinata. There, they have a super wholesome exchange, and Hinata helps Naruto get his groove back.
Thought you were, What? Gloomy, timid, always terrified, and basically completely weird.
But then the fireworks start, and he realizes that he's late, so he's got to run to get there. Now, super late, Naruto thinks he's not going to make it. Luckily, he runs into Konohamaru, who says he knows a secret path, only to find out that it's been blocked. But he says he knows another secret path, which takes Naruto to the hot springs, even further away from the arena that he was before. And then Konohamaru gives his final idea: riding a bull. Seems like a flawless plan until the bull starts chasing Naruto. Great job, Konohamaru. Soon, about 50 bulls are chasing Naruto, and the sheer fear of them making him reach the arena just in time. But when he gets there, all jokes are over. It's time for fighting. When Naruto gets there, he realizes that Sasuke hasn't made it yet, and neither has Dosu. Dosu isn't here because he's dead. But where's Sasuke? Well, wherever he is, he better make it there by the time the match starts, or he'll be disqualified. Meanwhile, the proctor explains that the rules are the same as the preliminaries. Everything goes, and the match ends when he says it's over. With that explained, we move on to the first matchup, Naruto versus Neji. People in the crowd give Naruto absolutely no chance. But Kiba knows better than to underestimate him. He thinks that Neji is in for a surprise. Before the match, Naruto reiterates his promise to beat Neji, and for some customary trash talk, the fight begins with a little stare down. Soon enough, Naruto goes right after Neji, but it's a bad plan. Neji is the master of taijutsu, and immediately puts the smackdown on Naruto. Naruto then realizes that fighting Neji up close is not an option, because he can see his chakra points and attack them with his Byakugan. However, after getting smacked a couple of times, he comes up with a strategy.